Hello everyone, this is Emily at the Coloring Oasis. Today I'm launching something new. I'm going to do a monthly Coloring Oasis community buddy color for anyone that follows here on the Coloring Oasis YouTube channel or in my Facebook group to color any way you like and share your picture inside our Facebook group. We're doing the brand new Joshua Dunbar's Easy Fantasy. I'm doing this beautiful little Oasis castle scene. And what I love about Joshua Dunbar is things are kind of chunky and a little bit big. And even though it's basic Amazon paper, it does blend well with alcohol markers. And so I am going to be using an all Ohuhu alcohol markers in here. I will share everything that I'm using. You can follow along. I have to grab some cardstock here. Hello everyone, this is Emily at the Coloring Oasis. I am launching something new today. I'm going to start having a monthly buddy color for the Coloring Oasis community. So anyone who wants to color the same picture, a part of this group, community buddy color, can then share it in the Facebook group. And this is for all the Coloring Oasis followers here on YouTube and in my Facebook group, which you can find linked below. We are going to be doing Joshua Dunbar's brand new Easy Fantasy coloring book. This just came out. There is a review of it in a book lot that I did. So it has the landscape view pictures, which will take me a while to turn, but we also have like the vertical pictures, lots of different. I love the fact that I have guys in this book, but I just love this little castle moat, kind of emerald green, kind of Scottish countryside scene. And I will be using entirely Ohuhu markers. I will share everything that I'm using in the comments of this video. However, you can color any way you want because it's a buddy color, and we would love to all see anyone who wants to do this picture and what you end up coloring as well. These Joshua Dunbar books, it's the bold, easy coloring, kind of chunky. Even though it's basic Amazon paper, you can blend fairly well with alcohol markers. I do recommend colorless blenders. These are my Ohuhu ones. You can buy a multiple pack of them on Amazon, which I'll link below as well. Or you can pull out any alcohol marker blender from any of your sets. And you really want to make sure it feels nice and moist to where you touch it to your hand. You can actually see it looks a little bit wet. So, or a good amount wet like I have here. This one, like I'm touching it, like I'm not quite sure. That means it's a little drier, etc. So that is important to get the effects that we want to have here. And I'll just go ahead and do my little bit of coloring chat while we're working on this. And then you can color the picture with any medium you want. Share it with the group. And I think it'll be great fun. So let's get started. I am going to probably start with this tree trunk here, which will also allow you to kind of see how I might do a tree trunk with alcohol markers. I have in mine, I have 4 colors I'm doing. I'm using Y13, E130, E260, and E120 in order of dark to light as I lay them out. So yeah, I'll go ahead and color, and this isn't really a tutorial, it's just you can watch me color, and I'll color as much as I can on the camera. I might be able to finish it all, and then you can do the same as well. I'm going to start with the darkest one, the chestnut brown. And I'm going to take wherever you see these little shadows, I'll give you some pointers how you can color this. If you're doing pencil, you can do something similar, but this is how you would do it with marker. You look for where there's already some of this little gray shadow, and you're going to put in your darkest colors there. And with alcohol marker, I lay out the colors left to right, darkest to lightest if I'm using multiple colors in one area. And I try to grab them kind of quickly and move a little bit fast. On this paper, it absorbs pretty quickly. It tends to dry faster. So it does take a little practice, but you don't really want to take too much of your time on this one. So I try to do, small areas at once. So I'm going to do up here, I'm just going to put in a little bit of this darker color. It's really dark. as you can see. Just kind of put it in kind of clunky, if you will, but you can put it in just wherever you see a little bit of that darker shadow. And I'm going to do mine work pretty quickly, so I can do a bigger area at once because I've been coloring for years and years with alcohol markers. So I'm just going to kind of go like this. We'll just do just this area. And then I'm going to quickly grab my next color. And this one I have the E130. And I'm going to just kind of blend around it, around where I just did that other color. A little bit like on each side. And you know, a tree log is not going to be a particular pattern. It's not going to be flat color, you know, it's going to be kind of all over the place. So is this, yeah, this is all part of the tree. So I'm just kind of putting it in some random areas. Leave room for the other colors. Let's grab our third color, which is the E260. It's leather. I will blend in some more, just kind of blend over and in between and around these other colors. Just going to kind of stripe it in kind of the middle here. Not all of the white, just some of it. And then grab the lightest color. We have the E120. I'm going to use it like a brush. Gonna fill in these white areas around the rest. And one trick is if you find that this ends up being too light, you can go back over the whole thing with one color, the one you did before this. So then you'll still see some of that like highlight yellowish tone that comes out through it. I got a little on the leaf there, but that's okay. So I'm going to go back a color to the E260. I'm going to go over the whole thing, which darkens it, but also like lets you see that little bit of the orange tone underneath. Okay, and then I'm going to take the alcohol marker blender and I'm going to hit it up a little bit where I had the lightest color, like right there. Maybe a little bit right here, just in some spots where you want the wood to look a little like faded, or I like kind of that heathery, fluffy look. That's kind of what I like. And I'm doing it pretty quickly while the ink is still a little bit moist already. So I don't do the whole thing, I'm just doing certain parts. There we go. You kind of get a little bit of that old log look. And you know, once that dries, you can even go, sometimes I'll go with pencil and I'll put a little pencil over it to really bolden and richen up the look of the wood. And you see how it's just like there's like the veins and it looks non-specific patterned. That's kind of what wood would be like. You could take your you can even take the second to lightest color, the E260, and you can, you know, dab in if you need a little more texture, dab in a little, kind of some spots. And then you can take the lightest one, the E120, and go over where you did the blender a little bit. It gives it like a mottled look. Okay, so we'll let that dry and we'll move on to some more parts of this branch. There's a lot of different ways to do trees. This is a big, wide, because it's easy coloring, so it doesn't have a lot of texture. So I'm going to go over here. And then I believe, it's hard to tell where this branch goes. I believe this is all part of it here. Right? I'm going to get some of this little vein right here. This brown is almost too dark for my preference, but it is what I grabbed. Let's do the second color, the E130. can just kind of stripe in over that. You're just kind of trying to give it some texture. I don't think that's tree branch there, is it? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, let's get the E260. Since I'm doing a little bit of teaching, and color along with me if you want. I'm not going to do a lot of my personal color and chat, which I like to do, but I am due for a basic color and chat video. I'm going to take the lightest color now, the E120, and go over everything I just did with it. Kind of try to blend all the colors. And this is an easy coloring, so I'm not spending a lot of time on it. I want something pretty quick and easy. I'm really working furiously, and that's not an exaggeration, to get my Patreon launched. I have 3 tutorials I'm finishing up. I'll have like 16 on there to choose from, and then I'm also getting my first 2 tutorials on a book completion club I'm going to be launching. I had a couple month gap there from my progress of getting that launched. I'm in here finally trying to get it done because I'm excited to start that project. Now let's use the blender and just do this. All right. Excellent. All right, so there's that tree branch. I'll go in later, maybe do a little pencil work with a medium brown. Got to make sure that's fully dry, but you see how easy that was. We'll do some different browns, I think, in this log down here later. And, you know, I can dab in a little bit of the 260 here, maybe, if I want to put a little more texture into here. Just put some lines in, sort of. Okay. Right, we are done with that, and I want to go ahead and do these little kind of Christmassy trees I have over here because I have 2 particular greens I picked for that. I have deep green BG2 and deep olive green GY43, and I pulled these from my, I believe it's the 320 Ohuhu Honolulu big set. That's what I use for almost all my tutorials if I'm doing Ohuhu, because it basically has almost all the colors you need. All right, so for these trees, let's take the point and just do a little zigzag where that texture already is. And I'm going to add in a little of my own. Just put in some little lines, basically. Then you can take the deep olive green and color over that whole thing. But people say, oh, can't use alcohol markers in cheap basic Amazon paper coloring books. It's not true. Crummy and expensive markers will look crummy, pale, faded, and will turn yellow. It's the quality of the marker, the skill, and the speed of which you work that matters. I'm going to add some more of this darker green here, kind of splotch it in a little. And then I'm going to take my blender and gonna try to lighten it up, the lighter green areas just in between the darker spots away from that first color. Here. There, and then see what it makes it look more emerald green, but the darker texture from the first color stands out a little bit. There we go. Great, very easy. All right, so then I have the greens to do the hills, all these hills, and I have 5 colors picked. I just need to test something real quick. I think that'll be fine. Make sure I got the right. Yeah. All right. So we're going to use G470 pine tree green, E370 light walnut, G260 apple green, GY1 pale green, and G050 celadon green, which is like a chartreuse or a celery. All right. Can I zoom in a little? Does that help? All right. So we're going to start over here. I'm going to use this darker green to kind of outline the lines, first of all. The first green, which is the G470, and I lay them down in the same order that I mentioned them to you. Outline it here. Do a little bit of shadow right there. Alexa, cancel. Okay, and then let's grab the brown, because, you know, there might be a little dryness. E370 light walnut. I'll put in a little bit of, just a little bit of like some brown. Oh, bloody hell, that's the bush. That's the thing about these easy colorings. Let me cover that so I don't do that by accident. That's okay. Well, shoot that. Actually, revise my, I have to get a darker green to cover that up. These easy chunky colorings, you kind of not always sure where the lines stop and end. I'm just putting some little flecks, and then the apple green. Just gonna kind of mix this in. Leave plenty of white space. I'm just kind of going over some of those spots. Brown. Let's do the pale green GY1. And same thing, I'm just gonna kind of mix these in. Might end up going back over it with a solid. We're kind of building some layers and some uneven terrain. And then lastly, the celadon green. I'm used to tie all these colors together. And it has a little yellow. I almost thought, because we have so much green already in here, to make these hills more brown. So I was thinking I'm going to do these layers, these uneven green tones. And then I'm going to go back over it with the brown over the layers of green we just did. And the reason being, now you can see the green tones kind of come through. So it's not just straight brown or straight green. It's, people always think about blending colors on top, but you have to remember that you can have under layers of colors that will shine through a top layer. So I'm going to leave it. There's a little bit of stuff there. I'm going to get the pale green, and I'm going to just put in a little more. Blend it a little more back on top. So our hills look kind of a brownish green. Take that celadon. See if I can lighten up a little bit of that on the top. It's kind of an interesting effect, but it's something I've learned a while ago that works on a lot of things. Okay, so then you see it's a, I'll show you up close in a second. Let's take the alcohol marker blender and hit those lighter spots. Just a little bit where it looks really kind of pale. we go. So the effect you end up getting is almost like stained glass. You see that? It's really easy. And it's not going to come out exactly the same each time, so it'll look different. You know, go ahead and look at any green hill and tell me how flat it looks. So let's do this side. Okay. And another reason I do this technique is because we have the brown in the tree here. We're going to have green in the leaves, green down on the other leaves. So the hills, if they're all green, it's a lot of green with the leaves. If it's all brown, it's a lot of brown with this. So you're doing a little bit of each in the hills. It ties together the colors of the browns and the greens and even the yellows, which will be some in the flowers, to makes like a more of a cohesive color theme. So that's why I do that. All right, here we go. Can't wait to see what you guys color, pencil, or how you do it. This is definitely an easy coloring. All right, so we're gonna take the G470 pine tree green, the dark one. Same kind of thing. I'm not gonna do, well, okay, these are bushes. I need to remember where the bushes end. I don't actually hit those. Right about there. So I'm gonna trace the lines again. Okay. Tracing. All right, and then I might just put in a little bit here on top of the bushes. Just kind of at the top of those bushes. Now let's just kind of repeat the process we did. I'm going to put in, because these are a little bigger, we're going to put in just a little more. Have a little bit more texture. Okay, let's put in the brown now, the light walnut. And I'm going to just, again, just kind of go over some of the lines. Maybe blend in a little at the bottom here. You can see, like, I'm not doing it any particular way. It's just kind of a layering concept. We can get over here too. I missed that. Okay, let's get to the apple green. And I'm just now going to brush in some of this over all the other colors. Some blending in. So basically it starts looking like a lot of strokes. Okay, then the pale green, GY1. All right. Then lastly, the celadon green. We will go over everything. This lightest color is usually the color you would kind of use to tie everything in together. It works as a little bit like as an alcohol marker blender, but it gives it a tint. And this is going to be like our undertone to our top coat. Okay. There we go. So then we're going to go back to our brown. We're going to go over everything in a single coat, not too dark or anything. Gonna do a single layer of brush stroke right over it. You can leave a few spots that might be a little lighter. Get that brown in there. You can leave a few green flecks here or there. Leave a little green, and then let's go back to the pale green. Let's just add some of that back in. And then the celadon green again. This will lighten it up. It'll give a little bit of that lime color back to it. Now we will hit it with the blender. Really brighten things up. Give it that more stained glass effect. Just want to get more of the areas that are a little more pale. And you know, this is like a medieval castle, so it's not necessarily, it's pretty dreary and dismal in a lot of Europe, especially in the medieval times. If you look at movies and books, and it's always gray and gothic-y and misery, like. I didn't want everything to be too bright in here. So I thought the little bit of the dirt in the green hills would be good. But you see how it's this blender that's really giving it, lightening things up and almost giving it a yellow tint. I'm just kind of dabbing it here and there, focusing more on the bright areas. All right, there we go. Excellent. I mean, theoretically, if you have a yellow, like I have a yellow Copic here, let's see what happened with this particular yellow. You could dab in a little yellow on top when the blender is wet. This one's not wet anymore, but that will be a nice kind of cohesive color too to go with our flowers, which will be orange, yellow. I'm just dabbing that over the blender because it's wet, and then it almost becomes like a watercolor effect. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so let's zoom out. You can see how the whole thing looks together. Those are our hills. Kind of a stained glass look, and you can keep playing with it, put in a little more green, a little more yellow, whatever. I like how it looks as it is. So that was fun. Fun. We shall now move on to the leaves. I might actually need all right, for leaves I have green G390, emerald green G1, and olive green G190. Just need to double check. I didn't realize, oh, okay. Right, let's see. So I think this color is darker. I might actually want, well, I think that shall suffice. I can actually add a little bit of this yellow to it. Let's see. Maybe, or celadon again. I'm testing my colors. I might use the celadon again. I'm not sure. So let's just wing it. So the leaves, because I realize there's almost all of this is like bushes in here too. I have to think, do I want that darker? Da, da, da. I don't know, hell with it, let's go. Okay, let's start with the G1 emerald green. So I'm gonna do the kind of bushes part of it. That's not the leaves part first. So I'm gonna work with this dark one and go up away from the leaves. So G1 is emerald green. I'm gonna put in a little bit here where there's some grayscale. If you see that, a little bit right there. Okay. Then I'm going to go over it with the regular green. See, now this one looks darker where it looked. Actually, I think this one is darker than the other one. So I'm going to put in a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go back to the G1, the emerald green. Yeah. And I'm just going to blend some of this in around the leaves. Just a little, and then actually I think I'm going to need, let's do this one, the olive green. Which is funny, it's not really olive. I'm going to blend this in around the leaves, all this area here. Yeah, shoot, I should have tested these. Some of my other greens. They're not the best greens, but I'm gonna actually go back to the emerald. Now I'll go over it. It is true, these kind of big open easy areas are sometimes hard to do because let's go back to the apple. The areas are almost too open. So then I'm going to take my blender and I'm going to just work the green a little. See what I can do here. And then we're just kind of lightening it up. Blending the colors so they're not quite so stark and dark and giving it that same kind of soft mosaic look. I'm going to actually see what happens if I touch it with the celadon. Yeah, I like the celadon. This is the celadon green again. So I'm going to probably opt for different greens for the leaves then, which means I got to go back to my marker bag and check. So we'll just work on the bushes for now. Okay. So that's the first part of the bushes. We'll do that down here. We'll repeat the process. So that's the green G390. I'm gonna get some right here. All right. Go to the G1 emerald. Try to get most of it. Leave a little room for the olive green, our undertone. Okay, then I'm going going to go back over the whole thing with the emerald, or just dabble a little bit. Then get the alcohol marker blender and look for any spots that are a little lighter and just use that as your starting point to create that effect. Sometimes I'll go in with bright pencils, like a really bright green, and touch up, or a white in those areas. Gives it a little more of a, like a highlight or bright spot. And then now I can now take that celadon and touch it over the alcohol marker while it's wet, which gives us a little more tint of a yellow. Excellent. Those are our bushes. Let's move over to this one. Just gonna hit here, here. With the darkest, though, the emerald. Get a little bit of that in there. And you can do the olive. I'm going to go back over it with the emerald, just touch it up a little. I'll just sneeze any minute now. I hate that. And I'm going to hit it with the blender stick. Now I have to decide what color I want the sky. I'm probably going to do, well, the castle will be gray tones. Probably do a nice gloomy day sky, I think. We'll see. And let's hit it with the celadon. And you can see once you've mastered the process, it goes a lot quicker. Okay. So then we'll do, I have to think, I might want to do those, yeah, I'm going to do those leaves in some autumn colors, I think. Maybe. Think about that for a minute. All right, let's come up here. And I'm gonna get all these darker, some of the darker areas. Got a lot of darker areas, just get up like in each corner. Let's get up here too. Let's get the emerald green. Do the olive green. Okay. And we're going to retouch that with the emerald green. Why have I not sneezed yet? My nose is driving me nuts. It's like itching like crazy. Okay. Right. This is the blender I'm using to just kind of lighten everything up a little. And then we can hit that with the celadon green. And it's looking a little darker over here, but it's more in the corner anyway. But let's hit it up with the celadon green, which also when it dries, it will lighten up a little bit too. Then you can take the blender. I wanted it a little darker than the corners. Creates more of like a little shadow, but I'll probably do a little Prismacolor pencil work once everything's dry a little later on. All right. Woo! We did those bushes. Let them settle. We'll go in and touch some things up with pencils a little later. So, I do have the colors pulled for my flowers. Alexa, what time is it? Not the leaves.
10:46 p.m.
Not for the leaves. These leaves. There's only 1, 2, 3 little flowers. For the, let's see if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3 colors for the little flowers. And I was not sure you can see them both. All right, there we go. So let's do these flowers. I have coral red R3, R070 agate, cadmium orange YR190, and then I have a yellow I might use as well, which I didn't grab from my Ohuhu. All right, so with the flower, I'm going to take that red, that coral red, to just kind of get up where this little shadow is. See that around the flower? I'll do the same one right here. Okay, then let's do the orange, or I'm sorry, the agate. And I like to blend around that and into it a little, bring like a ring around it. Okay. And then we can go into the orange, the cadmium orange. Although, at least if I do some autumn tones, maybe I'll do more reds in the leaves. I'm not gonna do all, just some. Making more of a ring, blending in, kind of going around. Then I'm going to take the yellow. You can grab any bright yellow. This is a Copic acid yellow. It's real bright. I just happen to have it nearby because I forgot to grab my Ohuhu yellow. So I'm going to just blend. This is a Copic and Ohuhu blending together. But there's pretty much a stark contrast you can see from this orange to the yellow. So then once I put that in, I'm going to go back to put in a second layer, a little bit of that coral again. I'm going to put in a little bit more of this. I'm going to put in a little bit more of my agate. And then I'm going to go over all of it. I'm just going to kind of lightly touch over the yellow with the orange so you can almost see some of that yellow through, but not all, just like a little. And then take the yellow and blend it out the side of the petal or the edge over that. Almost use this like a blender. You see how it gets nice and bright and it softens like the whole flower. I didn't put any yellow in here, I realized. Oopsie. So then if you take the blender, you can also run that over the yellow or even a little bit over that orange overlap and just kind of make it look like mottled and like all natural. I'm going to kind of just dab it around the darker and then take that orange that gets on the end and put it over a little bit on the yellow. Almost make like a little mosaic. And we'll just do that here. Make sure every area has some ink. And then it looks really nice to add a little tip of yellow on the flower with a bright pencil once it's done. Okay, we have one here. I have a rose, but that'll have to be a different color. Maybe some pinks, perhaps. So let's do this other little flower here. We'll do the coral again. Just do the little ring kind of around it. Take the agate. Make another ring, blend it in kind of around. I'm gonna take the orange, make a little bit more of a ring, blend it in and around. I'm gonna touch the yellow here and all over. Then I'm gonna go back to the orange. Actually, no, back to the coral. Darken that up. Back to the agate. So you see I'm working quickly while it's wet. Now back to the orange. I'm going to just kind of dab over all those yellows. It's okay if it's like a little speckled. Then take the yellow again and try to just use the yellow to blend everything right there. You see how these good quality markers, like I colored with inexpensive cheap markers for years and the pictures always looked terrible. Like it dries too fast. It doesn't blend well. It looks really pale. It's not juicy. It's such night and day when you have good quality mediums. Okay, I'm going to dab the blender all over. I'm going to bring a little bit of this orange here. Excellent. Looks like I actually got the center red. I guess I could do that. Let's just do that darker red in the center here. So I accidentally did it there anyway. I'll probably use a, let's see. I have here an Artex red acrylic paint pen. That'll make it a little more bold. You can use a darker red pencil. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I had in mind for those flowers. Really easy, as you can see. So I'm going to, I'm going to grab the brown, the other, gosh. I'm going to grab some castle colors, some other greens for these leaves. I guess this is water, and then some different, one other brown to use with the other browns. I'm going to cut the darker one to do this log here, and we will do that now. But you can kind of see so far how it's all coming together. Okay, so I went and picked some blues just to go ahead and do the water. I'm using B260, P1, B110, B030, and MG030 in that order, darkest to light, with the blender. So we'll start with the blue, the smoky blue B260. And I'm just going to, again, hit kind of around the border and in these grayscale areas here. Might go and put a little Posca pen in here later. Just a little bit in some of these corners. I think, what is over here? Is this flowers? Is this water all the way over to here? Maybe. So we're gonna, that's leaves. That is, I guess I'll do the water all the way to here. Okay, just putting a little bit of it in. Then let's do the PB1 sky blue. I'm gonna just blend over some of that. I'm gonna blend over it. And a little bit in some of these darker corners. Okay, I'm gonna go to the crystal blue B110. I'm gonna blend kind of around and next to, kind of squiggle it in the other blue. If that makes sense. Kind of dabbing it, or kind of, we're bringing like the blue into the white space, away from the other blue, after blending a little bit of it. It's almost going to create like a lavender-ish look. Put like a little bit there. Okay. Let's grab the frost blue, the B030. I'm going to blend around also. Just kind of work this blue in, not getting all the white space, just some. Okay. Blue gray 03 is the last one. And I'm just going to kind of it's almost a little darker than that last one, so we're just going to kind of add it in for a little bit of some darker depths over here. I'm actually not going to get all that white space. I'll come back and hit it up again. that water going up onto the beach? I'm not sure. I'll look at that in a second. I thought that was like sand, maybe. I'm gonna get, again, go back one to that frost blue. Blend this in a little better. Just kind of squiggling all this in here. I'm going to go back one further to the crystal blue. Just get a little bit more on the edges. Just kind of building some of those like layers and stuff again. Dabbing at it like you might do like a watercolor. And I'm going to go back to the crystal blue. And I'm going to kind of just go over everything with it. So we'll be using like a blender and then like a white pencil. Water. Okay. Now let's grab the alcohol marker blender and just lighten it up. It's gonna almost give like a little bit of a greenish effect. A little bit of slime in the water almost. It will also come back with a white pencil. We're gonna do some work in a Posca pen. And I might even hit the whole thing up with the blue-gray over it. We'll see. But for now, I'm just blending around these really dark spots and around the edges of the dark spots. All right. And the effect you get from that kind of mottled look with the blender and all these colors is it almost looks like a glow, like light's hitting it. All right. That's why you need a real juicy alcohol marker blender so you can get all the colors. Once that dries, I'll probably do a little bit of a blender there. It almost looks like you could do a little, that might be too bright though. Yeah, a little yellow tint, maybe. Just along the base here. Just like, maybe it's like a little light's hitting it. Or like a mint green would work. A little light hitting it or something. Then I would then take the blender again and blend over that yellow. Or I would even hit it up with the smoky blue, which was the last color. Oh, the blue-gray. That's blue-gray. Blue-gray, and then I'm going to just tap a little bit that blue-gray over here. Just in the darker corners. Then I'm going to take the frost blue. think that's all sand over there. The frost blue and blended over the blender and that yellow. Just kind of swirl it on over the blender. We're giving it more of a texture, like different light reflections and gradients. Da, da, da. Excellent. I think that's the only water, right? Yeah. And well, I would hit it with the blender one more time. This is just to look like there's like a little moss more around like the edge or something. The blender again. Okay. All right. Therefore, it's about all I need for now with the water. Some darker shadows in the water. There. We'll touch it up, like I said, with some white pencil. And next, I have the grays for the castle. The sky, I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna put some red in the leaves. So we will see. All right, so let's zoom on in. I will show you what castle colors I have here. Da, da. Just gonna cut off a little bit of the top. Hey, buddy. Get down, excuse me. Get down, 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 down. Okay. Is it crooked? It looks crooked. A little crooked. All right. So I have, is this too dark? All right. CG07. Okay, let's just do neutral gray 7, toner gray, cool gray 2, 4, or yeah, natural gray 3, cool gray 7, deep cool gray. All right. So let's just take the darkest one. We're gonna start. I'm gonna start with one little area at a time. Like, let's do this taller tower. We're gonna have some light coming in from in there. First thing we'll do is take the darkest one to do the little window ledges. Okay, I'm gonna use this darkest to outline the cracks. Where there's some like little nicks, some brick lines. Okay, we can go ahead and do this one up here too. Just putting in some little lines. All right. So let's do toner gray. I'm going to do this one. Kind of want to just do like some lines down like this. Okay. And then the cool gray 4, it has like the Roman numeral 2 and then the number 4, so it's weird. All right. We have the tone. Oh, we did the toner gray. So we're going to do natural gray 3. Just putting in a little bit. And then we're gonna do the cool gray 7. I'm gonna get most of this little piece here. And then I'm going to do the final gray, which is the deep cool gray. I'm gonna use this to, this almost has like a little bit of a blue tint. And then we're just gonna blend everything together and color it in. And then we'll work on the details. It will fade as it lightens up. We can do that light one right on the inside of the window. Pull it down again, blend it up a little more. I forgot this spot here. And then, again, take your blender, your Ohuhu blender. And lightening up the castle. Right, see that? There we go, and it almost is giving it more of that faded cement look when you lighten over that gray and kind of dab it with the blender, and then get that same kind of stained glass effect, but it gives it an older look, and it looks nice when you touch up some of these light spots with a white or light gray pencil. Okay, there you go. That's all you really have to do, that process there. We can do that with, I don't know what, that's an old cracked tower. I think those are just cracks. I don't know what this opening. This one might be an open doorway. You can see the trees on the other side, which is too bad. It means I can pull my greens back out, and that was supposed to be green right there. Yeah, I think that's seeing right through, like it's ruins. Okay, I'm gonna take the dark one. I'm gonna redo the ledge here. We'll probably want to touch that up with a pencil. I'm gonna add a ledge. This one has some bricks underneath. So for that one, oh, and I'm gonna also take it, do like a crisscross hash pattern. Actually, no, let's wait. I want to do my micron pen for that. Trying to figure out what these colors these bricks should be underneath. Should they almost be reddish bricks underneath? I think we'll just make it simple, go right over it. So let's just do the cracks with the, oh lordy, I just lost my lid. Okay. All right, so we're going back the dark, we're on the dark, the neutral gray 3. I'm gonna be going over all these kind of cracks here inside of the window. We're kind of making some ruins simple. might just do all pale ones into there, or even like red. I'm not sure. I'm actually not going to do anything with it. We're going to ignore it for now. The hair stuck. I'm going to go up the whole side. Ugh, it's hard to get my hand straight. Go over that crack again. I'm gonna kind of make, okay, let's go to the toner gray. And again, same thing. We're just gonna kind of put in some marks. Just go along the side of the windows here. I'm busy right now, buddy. Almost done. I gotta go feed my cat. Hold on, buddy. Just kind of putting in some lines. You see that? Like brush strokes, we'll do the cool gray 2-4. Roman numeral 2, number 4. Let's do the neutral gray 3. So basically it's like we're putting in brush strokes almost with the paintbrush. And we will do the cool gray 7. Looks weird, but it does work. And finally, the deep cool gray. I'm now going to try to blend all these together. Right. Looks messy, but it is part of the process. Then I'm going to take the blender and start working on it. Well, it's still wet. We're going to start lightening this up. I feel like I might have grabbed the wrong gray for that last step. It's darker than the other one. I don't know. Let's just try to blend it out good. I don't need the white pencil. Is this still moist enough? Yes, it is. It's still working. I wanted to give it an aged look. Yeah, I think I might have did. I grabbed the wrong gray for the final color. It looks darker than the other one, although it will fade. I'm just going to keep blending so my hand gets tired. It's still gonna work fine. We'll fix it up with a light gray pencil and a white pencil. Keep on. I can literally hear something running across my roof right now. Boom, 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 boom. It's gotta be a raccoon or a... It's gotta be too heavy for a squirrel if I can hear it distinctly. Okay. I think it's gonna fade. It's probably, maybe it was right. I'm just gonna keep working. I'm actually blending everything. Okay, we're gonna let that sit. I'm gonna take a rest. I'll pause it. Come back, we'll resume that. I'm thinking for that, actually, let's just take the lightest gray. Or, let's see. And just go right over that. Like it stands out. We'll outline the bricks with a micron black pen. I'm gonna let this fade for a minute, get my little dinner, then come back, finish the castle, and we will do the red leaves. And then the pencil work, we'll go back and do all of that after. Yeah, it definitely looks darker, but we're gonna let it fade a little. All right, so I actually realized how long it's been so far. It's already at 2 hours, so I'm probably not gonna do the whole color on the channel. I'm just gonna show you how do I do the 2 leaves. How I'm gonna do one of these leaves and the new browns I got here, and then finish off camera, and you guys can finish and then share your pictures. But I'll show you briefly what I wanted to do for these leaves here. So for these leaves down here, I have G2 Vivid Green, G3 Ocean Green, Horseradish, which is G140, and G440 Leaf Green, in that order. Lay them out left to right. And I'm gonna start with the Vivid Green G2. And I'm just gonna do kind of like a similar stained glass effect we're doing here. And I'll show you maybe on 2 here. Darker here. Just put in a little, let's go to the ocean. Oh yeah, ocean green. I can barely read that. Now there are many techniques for getting down color with markers, by the way. This is just one of many that I use. Horseradish G140. It's lighter, you can see. And lastly, Leaf Green G440. And we're just going to fill it all in with this final leaf green. This is, again, the real easy way. Feel free to blend it out. And might take the dark and just add back in a little bit of more definition here. And then I might take the second to last, which is the horseradish. Blend that in a little. I'm then going to touch a little bit, well, I'm going to wait. First thing I'm going to do is take the alcohol marker blender. Not sure if these greens were variant enough to do the effect I wanted, so I'm going to start blending this, and then I might touch some yellow on it. So we're actually going to straight up blending over it. We can add a top layer or two that will help it out. Particularly focus on lighter areas here. This is just a quick and easy way. I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to touch a little bit in some of these areas here. dab it in, and then I'm going to dab back over the lightest green, which was the, I believe, the leaf green was the lightest, right? No, horseradish. And dab a little bit more of that in. Then I'm going to use the blender again. And I'm kind of pushing it around, like poking at it. Every leaf's gonna look a little different, but so now we got a similar blended style. This will actually look really good if you tapped in a little bit of blue. Do I have any blue? Let's see. What is this? This is a spectra marker. It almost looks like it's making little blue shades. Just gonna tap in a little turquoise here. Yeah, so that's basically how I'm doing all of these leaves here. The same, so they'll all be just like this with this colors, for same process, which I'll do off camera. And if you ended up not liking that, just take like you could go in there with your leaf green. You know, you could go back over everything, or that's actually not even dark enough. You could go back over with your dark emerald one if you wanted. You know, put a little more dark, but I think I like it how it looks like this. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing off camera for the leaves. And then let me show you what I'm gonna do for these tree leaves. For the tree leaves, I have 6 colors. I like to use a lot of colors. Old red, R7, R8 geranium, R180 bright red. And then I have in this order too, you wanna lay them out left to right in this order. Lipstick orange, YR180, apricot, Y10, and orange chrome, or chrome orange, YR170. So let's take the red, the darkest red, which is the old red, and I'm just going to, I'm going to do one leaf that's a gradient, and we'll see how that looks. So basically it means we just put it at the base. Let's do like one here, maybe one here along the side where the brown leaked over, because it'll cover it. And maybe one here, just a little bit at the base. And then the next red, you're just gonna keep picking them up left to right. This is the geranium. I'm gonna blend that in. I'm gonna blend that over that red. Blend it down a little, just a teeny bit. Then we'll go to the next red. This is the bright red. I'm gonna go like this. Blend this in. And I'm gonna blend this in. All these colors go really well together. Okay, then I'm gonna transfer to the orange shades with the lipstick orange, where I'm blending right along the edge of where that red ended. And then the Y10 apricot. And only one color left, so just leave enough white for that last color. And the last color is the chrome orange. And you could do this gradient in no particular pattern, or we can do it that stained glass way. And then you kind of take this lightest one and you blend it into everything and pull some of the red over this bright orange. Pull it down over it. So it, like, pick some of the dark red up, which will also lighten it up, and then you can bring it here. You can pick some of that up, bring it over here, so it's almost like a little spotty. And then you can even take a little bit of the middle red, which was the bright, dab a little around over in the orange here if you wanted. You could even cover it up and you'd still see that bright orange right through it. You see that? And then touch it again with the chrome orange. Okay, it's super windy out. So then I'm going to take the alcohol marker blender. Of course, I'm going to start on the brightest orange and the lighter areas. And I'm just going to dab it. I'm also bringing, again, some of this darker maroon color to lighten it up. And then dab it over everything else. I mean, honestly, alcohol markers are versatile. I mean, I bled over there a little bit. When you keep it moist with the alcohol blender, you can move it around, kind of like watercolor. Okay, so that's the look I'm going for all these leaves, which will take a while, so I couldn't do that on camera. I'm going to show you for the browns here. I picked 2 new browns for this log. I picked E310 dark brown and E170 Carib cocoa. And we're going to add that to the last 2 we did from this batch, which is then leather and reddish brash, but I might just stop at the leather. So yeah, so I'm going to resume that off camera for this color along. I did get a drop there, darn it, on the sky, so I'm probably going to have to make it in nighttime. My marker leaked or something right there. Unless I do an orangey sunset sky, which I might. I will pick some different greens for these bushes. Same technique. Pick some pretty pinks for the rose. And finish this picture off camera. But I hope you learned something from this partial color with me and learned a few new skills. And you are welcome to share the picture you completed in the Coloring Oasis Adult Coloring group, which is linked below on Facebook. And next month I'll be having an Easter community buddy color. So see you in the next video.